Hello. Hi. Welcome to the Hospitality Hotline. My name is Catherine Sasser. I'm so glad you're here today. We are going live like we do every Thursday at 10 o'clock. And today I specifically want to kind of pause and take a time out and acknowledge where we are as a community, where I am personally. I would love to hear how you're doing in the comments. One of the things I'm going to address today is how desperate we all are for some sense of connection. And so I invite you, if you've never connected during this, please connect. So just to put it in perspective, today is Thursday. Last Thursday, it was the middle of spring break for me and my family. And I feel like Thursday was the day when things went from being somewhat normal with a side of, oh wow, this is really developing, to by Friday there was this sense of, oh my gosh, this is turning really quickly, we should go to the grocery store, to the weekend where I felt like hourly I was getting updates on things that were shifting dramatically. School was canceled, lives were turned upside down, church was canceled, jobs were eliminated, grocery store shelves were barren. And then I felt like all of our heads just started spinning. It happened that fast. And on Saturday night, my family and I went out to eat to a local restaurant here, and we all kind of had that sense that things were changing, but it had that kind of buzzy electricity about it that something new has, almost kind of like a really extensive snow day. Like, is it going to happen? Is it not? And we could see it coming, but it still felt kind of, I don't know, positive is not the right word, but it just felt electric a little bit, and all that adrenaline and all that was going. And then here I sit Thursday, and I feel like the air has just slowly fizzled out of my tire, and this is not cute anymore. This is not a movie. This is not a snow day. This is not a vacation. Like, the devastation is real. The implications are severe, and I feel powerless. I'm not sure what to do about it, but this is where we live. So I say all that because maybe you feel that way too. Chances are you feel some part of that, or you've experienced part of that. And as the days have progressed this week, it's funny how certain things have started to seem absurd. Like commercials, just like, who's buying anything? Who's going places? Commercials feel weird. Social media posts, I'm talking, there's a lot of positive things happening on social media, hear me say that. But man, the negative has just become amped up to where it's just day glow yellow. Like, the thing that bothers me about social media has just become even worse. And then things like, I look in my closet and I'm like, did I really wear these clothes? Do I have reason to need this dress? Like, everything just feels a little bit absurd, certain things. I think, as I've looked at my own heart, part of the reason that I personally feel so discombobulated and so turned upside down, and perhaps this will help you put words behind this feeling, I feel like every single assumption that I have is being challenged. And these are baseline assumptions. These are not lofty goals and dreams. I'm talking, I assumed my children would go to school. They're not at school. I assumed I would be able to go to the grocery store and get what I need, and I cannot. Grocery store shelves are empty. We all assumed that we could still shop, and we can't go into a store. Like, retail stores are closed. We assumed we could continue to gather for corporate worship. Canceled. We're not able to do that. We assumed that we could see and connect with our friends and family, and that's not smart. We're not doing that. We assumed that our jobs would look the same, that our businesses would run smoothly, and that's not happening either. And all these simple baseline assumptions are being challenged, and this much change and challenge is not easy. I think on our best day, we handle hiccups sort of okay, but this is not our best day, and these are not hiccups. These are like huge brick walls that we're being, I guess, thrown against, for lack of a better metaphor. So I think the coping mechanism that we all are hardwired to crave in times like this, and this is the part that's just unraveling me. We're all hardwired for connection. The way we cope with hard things is by gathering, by connecting, by being with people, and that has been ripped away, leaving us with this sense of like, what do I do? Where do I go? What do I say? What do I do with the way I'm feeling? So there's this assumptions being challenged, coping mechanism being taken away, and it's bizarre. I've never experienced anything like this in my entire life, and maybe you haven't either. All that being said, maybe right now, hospitality sounds like something extra, like travel or a new pair of shoes. Maybe hospitality, you're just like, yeah, we'll put that on the shelf for when we come back to normal. And if that's how you're thinking about hospitality, I want to challenge that in you today. I want to change your mind by the time I'm done here, or at least I want to get you thinking along a different path. So the reason I'm here today is to continue to show up for you. I'm with you. I want to continue to do this regular kind of stuff with you on a regular basis, because right now I need things that feel normal and repetitive and positive. So that's why I'm here today, and we're going to talk about what happens when our assumptions, including our assumptions about hospitality, are challenged. If you think that hospitality during a time of social distancing is an oxymoron, I want you to stay. I want you to keep listening. I'm gonna unpack this very powerful idea for you. Hospitality right now, today, in a time of quarantine, in a time of social distancing, hospitality is vital. Vital. I'm not making this up. It is really desperately important today, right now. This is the time, unlike any other time, when the truth about what hospitality is and what it's not can be seen clearly by everyone. There's no ability to sugarcoat this or mask it or dress it up as something other than what it actually is and has been for you and for me this entire time. Hospitality is not something you turn on when other people come over to your home. Hospitality is not a role that you play when you're hosting a party. It's not a button you push when your house is perfectly clean and your table is set and then you're like, okay, it's time to do hospitality. That's not hospitality. Having people over, of course, that involves hospitality, but the essence, the heart of hospitality is none of those things. Hospitality is a mindset, it's a lifestyle, and now more than ever, it matters. It's relevant, it's vital, it's life-giving, it's needed. Hospitality is the art of creating space for others and yourself so that change can occur. And it's an expression of love through anticipating need. That's it. An expression of love through anticipating need. It's motivated by a desire to serve, not perform. And if there's ever a time when we have needed something like this, it is now. So, none of the truths about hospitality, none of them is canceled out because we're all quarantined. In fact, they are heightened. They are seen for the beautiful things that they are. And so I want to answer the question, how do you create space for others when you can't even gather with other people? And it's true, no one's throwing dinner parties, birthday parties are canceled, gatherings are canceled, everything is canceled. So what does hospitality look like? What do you do when you can't gather? You start with where you are. All of us are living somewhere, and probably with rare exception, and I know there are rare exceptions to this, but all of us are living and sharing walls with other people. It might be one person, a spouse, a roommate, a parent. It might be multiple people, an extended family, your children, your friends. You might be quarantined with people you never expected to be quarantined with, but all of us are sharing space with someone else. The best place to practice hospitality, the true essence of what it is to start in your own home. And the good news is we are all in our own homes currently. That's the only place we are. It's the only place you should be. If you're going somewhere else, I need you to stop doing that. Stay at home. If you want to begin to get good at all those other expressions of hospitality, like having people over and hosting a dinner party and setting the table for 12 people, start by learning how to do it where you are right now, within the confines of your own home with the people that you live with. I have written a blog post that's called How I Cook Dinner Through the Lens of Hospitality, and it shares a lot of these ideas of starting at home where you are in the dailiness, in the dailiness of hospitality. That might be helpful to read, The practice of bringing the truths of hospitality into your daily practice today, right now, in the middle of a pandemic, is how we begin to look like and work on and learn how to express this on a larger scale. If you can do this while maintaining a heart that is focused on expressing love for others and anticipating their need within the walls of your home today, you can do this when all this is over. You can grow in that area. My encouragement to you this week is to start where you are. You're at home, so start there. Look for ways to anticipate the needs of those that you live with in one or two ways. I'm not talking about revamping your entire household rhythm. I'm not talking about upending anything. I'm talking about look for one or two tender, quiet, small ways that you can begin to create space and anticipate need with the desire to express love for others, and start there. And what's going to happen is you may have this sense of like, this isn't a big deal. There's no fancy table, there's no flowers, there's no fancy meal. This is so mundane. That allows you to focus on your heart. That allows you to focus on your heart. Hear me say, all that other stuff is going to be waiting for you whenever this is over. The flowers and the table and the parties are going to be waiting for you when all of this is over. Your heart, the work you can do on your heart right now is exquisite. The opportunity to look at your heart and train your heart towards hospitality, the time is now. And then you'll carry that forward when you decorate flowers, when you set a table, when you host a party. All of these little ordinary moments can be deposits that you make that are going to yield a benefit down the road for you. So focus on your heart. Now, let's shift gears a little bit, because here's the other side of what we are all facing to some degree. I don't know anyone that isn't facing what I'm about to describe as it relates to hospitality. And you may not have thought about it this way, and that's okay. I'm here to challenge that assumption. With rare exception, we are all being required to show up in ways that a week ago we didn't need to show up. Parents are at home all day, every day, with all of their children. That's new. Workers, you might be working at home alone with your dog instead of with a room full of colleagues. Children, students, you're at home with your parents instead of at school with your friends and teachers. This is hard for you too. Business owners, you're scrambling. You're frantically trying to figure out what's next. And all of us, humanity at large, is just waiting to see what happens. It's so much to carry. The ways in which we are being asked to show up for other people in new ways that weren't part of our roles a week ago is profound. It's stunning. It kind of stops us all in our tracks. How do we show up best for others who are needing each of us in new ways? Are you ready for a paradox? Are you ready for a mindset shift? Open your hearts. Here we go. The way that you show up well for others consistently and continually in a manner that will not putter you out or encourage you to numb out your feelings. If you've got to keep going and showing up and being there and being present, how do you do that? What does that look like? Well, the way that you facilitate the capacity to show up well for others is to find ways to show up well for yourself. I'm going to say that again. The way that you facilitate what's required of you and showing up for other people in new ways is to find ways to show up for yourself. Not from a motive of selfishness, not from a motive of being self-centered, but from a heart that only wants to best serve those who need you now. If you want to exercise hospitality for others, and if you're thinking, I'm not exercising hospitality for others, yeah, you are. You're creating space for your children at home. You're creating space for your husband who's now officing at home. You're creating space for your daughter who's unexpectedly home from college for the semester. You're creating space for your roommate who may or may not still have a job. You're creating space for your neighbor who lost their wife. You're creating space for your mother who may not be able to care for herself. You're creating space for your friend who happens to be an ER nurse and is frazzled beyond belief. You're creating space for your boss who expects you to show up and step up and perform at a high level during this time. You're showing up for your business. You're creating space for your employees if you're a business owner. And if you want to exercise hospitality for all of those people, and hear me say, that is hospitality, you're going to have to figure out a way to show up for yourself, or it's not going to last. This isn't a one-day snow day, everybody put on your pajamas. This is indefinite as of now. We do not know how long we're going to be in this new role. This is going to require something of you. These people are going to require you to continue to show up until further notice. Hospitality has to begin with you so that it can overflow to other people. Normally, and this is crazy, but normally we have the ability to gloss over this need of our own. We go, we do, we move, we change scenery, we distract, we numb. None of us can do that now. And it's like our need has risen to the surface, and we are all hyper aware of it, and it's expressing itself differently for different people. But that sense of frustration or sadness or anger or overwhelm, that is your heart telling you to pay attention because you're not getting something you need. And we all have it, and it's real hard. But in order to continue to show up for the people that need you in the ways that hospitality is expressing itself now, you're gonna have to exercise some hospitality on yourself. Go to bed earlier. Get dressed so you feel at your best. Eat something green. Be kind to yourself in your internal monologue. Drink more water than you think you possibly need. Make something every day so that you are, using your brain and your hands and your heart. These are ways that you're going to have to show up for yourself. What I'm suggesting, and what I want you to hear me say, is not another list of let's all survive this pandemic by living out our dream to-do list in some romanticized way. And that's not what I'm saying here. I'm not suggesting another project. I'm not suggesting another outline for your day. I'm just suggesting a mindset shift. Someone needs you. Someone is going to continue to need you. And hospitality is that thing that's calling to you to care for yourself so that you can show up best for them. Your kids are super needy, not just because they're home all day and can't see their friends, but this is unsettling. They need you. Your friends still need you. They need to be connected. Your neighbors need you. Your community at large needs you. Your small businesses need you. If ever there was a time when our need for one another is heightened, it's now. And you're gonna have to answer this call. So the best way to make sure that you can answer in a way that serves people is to create space for yourself. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. I know that sounds self-centered. It's not. It's not. If your motive is to serve others well and to show up for those who need you, you're not being selfish, you're being smart. It's time to be smart. Okay, so moment of just personal clarity here. This is what it looks like for me. My children are at home. My husband is working from home. My storefront is closed, but my business is still open. We're pivoting. My employees are working twice as much. I have people that are looking to me in significant ways to show up as the best version of myself possible, and to lead and to create and to just guide and be kind and patient and empathetic. And this is what it looks like for me right now. I am going to bed early and sleeping as late as I can so that my mind can think clearly and I'm not fatigued. I'm still tired, but I'm not as tired as I would be if I weren't going to bed. I am processing my feelings and saying them out loud so that when I have a child that is sad and feeling something big, I can speak into that with empathy because I'm dealing with it too and I understand that it's hard. I'm trying probably 80% of the time to make sure the food that I'm putting in my body is the kind of food that's going to give me energy and not make me feel like yuck. I'm not being strict. I'm things, but for the most part, I know that my body needs fuel. I know that it needs green things and lots of water and healthy fats. I know that potato chips taste good, but they're not going to give me the energy I need to make it through this in a way that can last. I'm writing in my journal every day so that my heart is continually turning over new feelings and I'm doing something with them that isn't passive aggressive or create more conflict than we're already facing. I have muted certain people on my social media feeds because I just cannot deal with it right now. It's not good for my mental health. And as a gift to myself, so that I can stay in a positive place to serve the other people that depend on me, I'm muting a lot of things. I don't want to see or hear certain things right now. And this is how I'm coping. All of these are expressions of hospitality that I'm taking on myself with the motive of showing up best for the people who need me right now. And there are a lot of people who need me right now. There are a lot of people who need you right now. And my question to you is, what does it look like for you to exercise hospitality on yourself during this time? Not because you need to be the center of the universe, and not because we all need some retreat that's centered on us and our needs, but because there are people who desperately need you. And in order for you to show up, you're going to need to show up for yourself. So as things continue to unfold this week, I want you to look for ways to start with a mindset that's centered on serving others and express that in ways that equip you to show up for them. I would love to hear how you're doing this. Like, the more interaction, the better. If there's something that's working for you, goodness gracious, I would love to hear it on any of the platforms. Like, all the thoughts, all the ideas, all the cheerleading as we do this together. I want you to remind yourself that hospitality is not a button we push and we have over. It's a lifestyle that we live. And next week, we are going to continue to talk about this, Thursday at 10. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to be here. I'm going to continue to show you what this looks like in my life. And I really appreciate you being here and listening. Have a great day.